growth, development, growth, growth, development, growth. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and a very good evening, everyone. So let's proceed with the differences between the economic growth versus the economic development. What are the difference between these two concepts? Remember, these two differences are based on conventional perspective. Okay, what are the difference? The economic growth is a very narrow concept because it is only merely due to the income of the country, while for the economic development is a very broad and also comprehensive concept because it goes beyond the growth of the economy or beyond the income of the economy. Is the total development of the country. Okay, secondly, in terms of scope, it also touches on the output in the economy only, while for the economic development, it touches on the structural change in economy. When we say structural change, is included from the we remember there's the transformation from the agriculture to the modern sectors. So thirdly is there are three factors that can cause the rise in GDP. Is consumption, investment, government expenditure, and also net export, where the export minus import. Whereas in the rise in the factors of the economic development, the rise in economic qualities. Please change the word here. Life inequality, HDI, drop in inequality, and also the structural change. The first, in terms of the quantitative measure, because it can only be measured by the GDP, GNI, and also real GDP or gross domestic products. While for the economic development, it involves both quantitative and also qualitative measures, where in terms of real GDP, GDP, GNI, real GDP, HDI, and also HPI. Then in terms of impacts, it only involves the quantitative changes. Here the impacts is due to the quantitative and also qualitative changes. In terms of the relevance of the economic growth, it is the progress in developed countries because they have been developed. The country has become a developed country. So that's why they don't concern about the development anymore. They are concerned about their income of their particular country. Meanwhile, for the developing or underdeveloped countries, economic development is very relevant because it must have higher income in the economy and also higher quality of a standard of living for their nation, for the people in their nation. Lastly, it is a very short-term process because normally it can be measured annually. You can compare, for example, the economic growth for the 2018 and also 2019 or 2019 versus 2020. So whereas for the economic growth, it is a long-term process where it is a continuous process of development. In the earlier lectures, okay, I have mentioned about there are two perspectives. First is the conventional and second is the Islamic perspective. Now let's take a look of what does it means by the Islamic economic growth and also Islamic economic development. So let's first let's look at the economic growth concept because it follows the principle of social and economic justice. So it must have a whether it's halal and haram, whether it's permissible or forbidden, the one that is practiced in the economy. So the role of state is very important here, and they must also have the responsibility of each individual. So the goal of the Islamic economic growth is to achieve the use and also best allocate the resources to bring about economic growth and also prosperity to the society. So it's not about the nation, it's for the society. As we can see in this circle, there have been 4 determinants of economic growth. The first is the human resources, second is the investable resources, third is the entrepreneurship, and fourthly is the technological changes. Okay, let's take a look one by one determinant of economic growth in Islamic perspective here. The first one, the human resources. Here, human resources. When we say here, human beings have 2 basic needs. The spiritual need is the faith or belief in the one God, and also the physical needs, whereas we want to optimize the resources, the efficient labor force that can possesses professional competence, skills, and moral, and also we must include all aspects of human life, that is moral, spiritual, or material. So meaning that they must be very comprehensive. That include all aspects of human life, not only in being materialistic, but we must have also being in the spiritual term. The second element of the economic growth, or the key factors that contribute to the economic growth, is the investable resources. It can be derived from the internal and external sources. So the internal sources include zakat, voluntary saving in the EPF, while the external sources refers to the interest-free debt. Because we know the interest is prohibited in Islam. Then we move to the third key factors that contribute to the economic growth, that is the entrepreneurship. When we say is entrepreneurship, it refers to business leaders and innovators of new ideas and also business processes. We must remember that all economic activities in Islam must be halal or permissible. So there will be 3 classification of goods in Islam: daruriyah, which refers to basic goods; hajiyah, comfort good; and also kamaliyah or tanisiyah, that refers to the luxury goods. So here, planning is vital, or it is necessary. And then the fourth one, which is the technological changes, it involves both product and also process innovation. So it consists of sustainable socio-economic growth in both quantitative, meaning that's in terms of physical and environmental aspect, and also qualitative aspect, meaning that in terms of spiritual, moral, and ethical aspect. In contrast, the economic development in Islamic perspective, it concerns about human welfare, where it follows Islamic values from the Quran and Sunnah. So the concept is broader than the conventional economics because it covers spiritual, moral, environmental, social, and also technological dimension here. So let's look at the objective of the Islamic development. The first, you must achieve falah, meaning fal hayya al falah, as in the azan, it's considers that as be successful. Go towards the success. Okay, it's actually, when we say it's achieve falah, is more than merely material prosperities, or whereby the all economic activity must be morally directed, it must be halal or permissible, and we must avoid totally the haram or non-permissible activities, riba or interest or gharar or uncertainty in any economic activities. Second objective is we must have equal opportunities, an equal acquisition of knowledge regardless of sex, gender, religion, caste, creed, color, or social status, and distribute wealth through zakat. Here, two important aspects are needed in Islamic economic development. The first is the divine and its creation, whereby it's related to human welfare in line with the basic of Sharia or the Islamic jurisprudence. The secondly is in terms of social and welfare interests. It should be the priority before the private interest. Second is regarding the material and spiritual needs of human beings. The welfare and equity of each individual must be considered during the development process. Equals right to resources. There will be moderation in consumption, which should follow the hierarchy of goods. These are the three hierarchy of goods consumption according to Islam. The first is daruriyah, is the basic goods. This is where everyone must have, everyone must consume these basic goods. Second is the hajiyah, only certain people can have the comfort goods. The third is kamliyah or tanisiyah, luxury goods, are very rare people or very rich, only very rich people can have these luxury goods. Okay, the economic development in Islam are based on three elements. The first is tawhid, meaning that we must emphasize the worship of only one God. It must be the hablu minallah, meaning that the relationship between the human being and their creator with one God, and also the relationship between one human being with another human being, with meaning is among the mankind, is hablu minan nas. Secondly is refers to the element of rububiyah. Rububiyah is the believing the one God, Allah, is the most powerful creator. So is the second is in order to achieve falah, means that determines human rewards in all activities, including the economic activities in the hereafter. So everything that we do in this dunya is for the hereafter, for the afterlife. Thirdly is due to the Khalifah, meaning that human being as a leader in the world, and also we must ensure the prosperity set by the Sharia or in accordance of Islamic law. I guess I will stop here. Next lecture will involve the dimension of the economic development in Islam. Ta-da!